Yes, and hello and welcome to the Fantasy Wildcard Dynasty Show. We have got an absolutely packed show tonight. Gentlemen, it's the start of our rookie content for 2025. We are excited. Mags, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Ollie. Good to be back. I mean, if you know any of my other content, I've been talking about these rookies since October, Ollie, but I'm still excited today to keep going with these guys because we got one of the best in the business as a guest today. We might even have a four. Who knows what's going to happen, Ollie? This is a bit of a wild show.
It is. That's why we call ourselves the wild card, because anything can happen. But yeah, you mentioned him right there. It was a guy that you were speaking to back in October, and a member of the Wildcard family, one of the hosts of the Wildcard Devy Show. Phil, welcome in. How are you doing, my friend?
He's doing so well. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah, thanks for having me, lads. Like, you guys, Mags, you've been about them for 3 years. So, like, you know, this really is time to, like, put these names out there.
It is indeed. And yes, gentlemen, we are approaching rookie season. Well, we're into it right now, and there wasn't two people, or just one at the moment. Hopefully, Jack will join us later, but there isn't any two people that wanted to spend the first show with than you two, because you are part of the Devy Show. And for people out there who may be interested in joining a Devy League, Phil, what would you say about the people? Why should they join a Devy League this offseason heading into 2025?
Yeah, so, like, look, ultimately, we all fancy ourselves as armchair GMs. That's why we play Dynasty. Like, but Devy's that extra wrinkle. Like, get your eyes on the guys you want before it and don't have to leave a wrinkle. That extra projection adds a layer of complexity, a layer of kind of tactics in terms of when players are going to come out. You know, it affects your kind of timelines in terms of you know, when players are going to declare, and you know, the knock-on effect of that is on your championship windows. It's a whole lot of fun, and I love football, right? And it just gives you football to root for on a Saturday and Sunday. You can find, like, great pleasure in the most seemingly meaningless on a Devy radar that you might want to check out before your supplemental drafts. And, you know, it's a great chance to get your hands on those players first, like I said, and not leave it to chance, like where we are now in Dynasty, in gambling on those rookie picks.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, you just get such a head start in, you know, the rookie process of you already know these guys. And I found myself absolutely drawn to college football this past year more than I ever have. Checking in on Saturdays with the scores, with the players that have been going off. Mags, are you yourself in a Devy League? Are you interested in joining a Devy League? Myself, I'm in just the one, but it is with Phil, and there's a few others from the wild card in there. And yeah, it's a great time. I'm not the best at it, but I'm certainly looking forward to welcoming Ashton Jeanty onto my team this season, which will be nice. But Mags, have you dipped your toe in the Devy League water yet?
Yes, I was sort of desperate to join a Devy League, and ended up I think I'm in the sister league to you, Ali, with the second wildcard Devy League, where I've sort of gone, okay, let me see if I can take a bit of a risk and grab some of these super young prospects. Just made a trade for Ryan Williams before the trade deadline closed over there. So I'm real excited, planning already for 2027. That's how dedicated I am to Devy, Ali. We got 27 on the mind.
Oh yes, I mean, I think each week we've been mentioning them 2027 picks.
Oh yeah,
they're looking pretty sexy right now. But yeah, we're not going to talk about 2027 picks.
Man, it's shaping up to be nice, that class.
Oh, it's absolutely huge. They're the ones you want to get. Forget 2026, right? We're going to talk about the 2025 class, no matter what we think of it. But Phil, Mags, what has been your first impressions of this 2025 class? Because it's completely different in my eyes to 2024 class, where it was loaded at quarterback and wide receiver. Seems to have flipped this year, and those seem to be the weaker positions. So, Phil, what is your first impressions of this 2025 class?
It's really, really deep at running back. The Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and the kind of proper draft nicks have got 30 plus running backs with draftable grades in this class, which gives you just an idea of how loaded it's going to be for your rookie drafts. If you play in a kind of 3-round, draft, there's nothing to say that realistically you could spend the kind of entirety of that third round on rookie backs that are going to make an impact in the league. There's no kind of headliner at wide receiver, other than maybe a kind of the big two, big three. Is it a big two or big three? Because we've got no idea what Travis Hunter's going to do. But it's a real kind of reset year of the entire running back market, and that's where I think a lot of attention is.
Yeah. And you, Mags, because obviously you're deep into this rookie process as well, and you're deep into your rookie drafts over on your channel. And what's been your standout for first impressions this class?
Question marks everywhere. Like so many every position's got one player where you're like, man, if they put this all together, they could be great. Jalen Milroe at quarterback. You've got guys like Ollie Gordon at running back. You've got wide receivers like Luther Burden in there as well. There are so many question marks everywhere, which is seeing such a huge scattergun of draft strategies on the channel, which has been great to see. There's different players going at different positions. I've seen players like Cam Scatteraboo go in round 1, round 2, and round 3. He's going all over the board, which is quite rare to see people like that. And it's not just him. There are loads of players that seem to be being moved around. People aren't really sure where to take them. It's really fascinating. Like, it might not have the same top end talent as we've seen last year or have seen for a while, but it is, for me anyway, more of an interesting class, at least to study and analyze.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's far more of a consensus last year where the top 10 picks were pretty locked in, but this year there's so much deviation, especially the few rookie mocks that I've been doing. Cam Scatteraboo's didn't go until round 3 in 2 of them, and in the other one he was an early second round pick. So all over the board, making it really, really interesting. And another guy that is really interesting because at the minute I can't see myself taking him in round 1 just because of that unknown. And we did mention it there. You did, Phil, is Travis Hunter. What is your stance at the minute on Travis Hunter? Are you prone to taking a risk on him? Do you think, maybe not saying, do you think he'll play wide receiver more? But what is your approach for rookie drafts at the minute with Travis Hunter?
Yeah, so like the range of outcomes is huge, isn't it? You're going all the way from potential wide receiver 1 to literally undraftable. I really don't feel like we're going to know the answer until right on draft day. We're not really going to have a clue until we see which NFL team takes him. And from there, like what where he works out on his pro day. I know obviously when we look at the combine this week, he has registered as a corner. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I've heard people saying, well, what that probably means is when it gets to his pro day up at Colorado, he'll end up working out as a receiver and have his quarterback in Shedeur Sanders throwing to him. So there's a whole lot still open. It seems really, really weird to say it, but I think the best thing you can hope for if you want to draft him as a wide receiver, or if you, going back, putting my Devy head on, like if you have Devy shares of him, is you want the Patriots to take him. You want the Patriots to take him because they need talent on both sides of the ball, and he'll walk in there, maybe even if he gets drafted in the corner, and walk in and be lights out, by far and away their best wide receiver, and probably end up taking snaps there as well. So that would be the dream. That would be the dream, and I think that's where you're going to see his kind of most value in terms of the first round for your rookie drafts. But yeah, right now, man, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking that gamble until we know so much more.
Yeah. And Mags, what are you similar to Travis Hunter, or are you? Because I've seen rookie drafts where people are taking him top 5 because that, you know, for me, if he was a wide receiver, he would be my wide receiver 1 full time. But because the unknown, I can't take him as a round 1 prospect. But are you more adverse to the risk and taking him knowing that he might be on, you know, out there for less than 40% of snaps?
I mean, can we first appreciate just how filthy a pairing of Christian Gonzalez and Travis Hunter would be at quarterback before we move on? Like, can we just take a minute to think about that and how awesome that would be for the Patriots? Yeah, he's one I'm taking a flyer on Travis Hunter. Like, I'll go for it. I'll happily burn any 3rd round pick I have just to pick up a guy. I don't want to leave this 25 class without at least taking, you know, 1 or 2, you know, pot shots at Travis Hunter, because he is so talented. He is so good. 3rd round picks, 9 times out of 10, you're lighting them on fire anyway. So why not shoot for the sky with a guy like Travis Hunter, who could be absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'll take the chance on him. I don't know if he's a better cornerback or wide receiver. We've seen today, Ali, we were talking about before the show, the Titans GM thinks he's a better quarterback. The Browns GM thinks he's a better receiver. So we both agreed that the Browns are probably wrong and he'll play corner.
Yeah, don't trust the Browns.
yeah.
There is a guy that I certainly trust with his Devy knowledge and rookie knowledge, and I'm going to bring him in onto the show now. Jack, welcome in. How are you doing, mate?
Evening, guys. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. All the better for being on.
Excellent stuff. And we're going to bring you in to our 4th question, and perhaps one of the most important questions, because I want to know, Phil and Jack, who are your early rookie sleepers perhaps in this class? Perhaps rookies that people may not be talking about or not be talking about as highly as they should do. Who's the sort of guys that maybe we should know more about?
Yeah, I'll kick us off by saying that it's RJ Harvey out of UCF for me. And Mags, I know that you already love him, okay? But he was my guy first, okay? He is my college fantasy football darling for the last 2 years. But the hype is growing a little bit on him. So deep sleeper, probably not. I've seen him go in the mid-second round of some rookie mock drafts, and that's probably where I'm comfortable taking him now. But, you know, 2 months ago, getting him at the end of the 3rd round would have been great. But, you know, 5'9", 200 pounds, guy can run through a brick wall, and the production has just been incredible. The 2023 and 2024 production, like around 1,500 rushing yards in both seasons. Last year, 22 touchdowns on the ground. And really handily for PPR leagues, someone who is catching at least 1 ball in every game, bar 2 complete blowouts in 2024. So someone who has got the hands to earn you those extra PPR points out the backfield.
Absolutely love that. And Phil, I know you were torn pre-show about who your sleeper was going to be. Have you made your decision?
I have indeed. And funnily enough, I'm going for another pass-catching running back. I think we've identified 2 of the kind of strongest pass-catching backs in the class here, and I'm going to go with Woody Marks at USC. So 5'10", 205 pounds, again, transferred from Mississippi State and was highly productive in the SEC before he went across to USC. Like, runs a full route tree. And I think that's really, really important. You're not just going to get kind of dump offs and screen passes. He can run routes out of the backfield. And in PPR leagues, if you can pick him up in the 3rd, that is going to be so valuable. He's a one-cut runner, would suit kind of those zone schemes that similar to kind of the 49ers, the Rams, Miami all run. He would be an absolute dream in those kind of systems. Tons of kind of lateral agility and open field kind of playmaking. And yeah, like when you talk about college production and pass catching, over 200 receptions in his college career. And, he is going to be available in those later rounds because for me, he's just been far too slept on at the moment.
Oh, absolutely love that. Just making my notes.
I can tell you a funny story about Woody Marksville. I think I've told you this before. Maybe it was Jack was on my show, and I was speaking about how I thought for a while at USC, it's like, the two Marks running backs are really good. Like Jaquavius and Woody both killing it. And then find out same guy put their scores together, and I was like, oh, this guy's actually really good because he was doing quite well when he was just half a person. So you put those scores together, real good player.
Love it.
What about Max?
Love it.
Have you got yourself a sleeper that you want to bring up on the show? Because I've got some more notes to make.
I had one, and Jack went still. Yeah, I really like this guy. Doesn't fit into a lot of people's models and the way that they work things, and he's got late breakout and all that. But I love me some Xavier Restrepo. I think he's a really, really good route runner. He's able to separate. We've seen how important that is in the NFL. There's also a chance Restrepo can go and be paired up with Cam Ward. They're in that same hemisphere in the draft, so he could continue to that amazing link up that they had in Miami. And I think he's someone that's ready to come in and play right away. So that's going to do wonders for his value. So he's a bit of a sleeper. I don't see him going in the second round too often. So yeah, Restrepo you might be able to pick up in your third round, and that's pretty good value, I think.
That's because you've not done any rookie mocks with me, Mags, because he's not making it to the third. So I have been taking him. I love me some Restrepo. He's definitely an early my guy for me. Someone that just gets open. And I just think in the modern NFL, you don't need these big wide receivers. Or there's partly why Lad McConkey was one of my guys last year, because he helps move the chains. So useful in modern day NFL. Love me some Restrepo. And I'll tell you what else I do love. I love to play a game, Mags. And I'm going to hand it over to you as the presenter now of some Dynasty, or should I say rookie, deal or no deal.
Yes. So excited to bring this game over to the Wildcard Dynasty Show. You guys watching at home, you probably know the deal already. This is deal. That wasn't even intentional. I'm sorry. You know the deal. This is deal or no. This is deal or no deal. There are 26 boxes in front of us. Phil and Jack, you're going to be a team together. You're going to open up. You're going to choose a box to keep, first of all. Then you're going to open up all but two of them and then see what you end up with. But along the way, a mysterious banker who may or may not be Kev White will be calling in and giving you an offer. I'll be the only one who's able to hear this, banker, though, so don't you worry. Boys, we need to start off with, you need to make a group decision. What number are you going to choose as your box to keep? While those boys are making that decision, guys, if you're at home and you're over on our YouTube channel here, hit that subscribe button. How about that? We're doing well. We're trying to grow this YouTube channel up. It's been a great start to it, Ali. We were both chatting off fire. We're really pleased with it, right?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. We have had a YouTube presence, but we've not posted official videos before. It's more been sort of the live streams that sort of get a little bit forgotten about. And yeah, we have some great content. So especially during rookie season, we want to push it out there a bit more. So hit the like and subscribe. Comment with perhaps who your deep sleeper is, because everybody's got one, and everyone wants to be the first to have them. So yeah, comment who your rookie sleeper is this year.
Love it. Boys, do we have a decision? What number are we keeping?
I think we do. Okay. We are going to take box number 4. In our Fantasy Wildcard Devy League startup, I had the 101 Devy pick, and I made the controversial pick at the time, not so much now, to take an Ohio State Buckeye that wears the jersey number 4, as Jeremiah Smith.
Oh.
So we will take box number 4, please.
Box number 4 is your box locked in. And boys, I will tell you, these players behind range from Ashton Jeanty all the way down to definitely not Ashton Jeanty. So I will let you see. But also you'll notice there's 26. So we got 2 rounds with the players. Some of these players are first round players, some are second round players, some are third round players, some are fourth round players. And then I've also thrown in for you, just to sprinkle in a bit of Devy fun, you got a 26 first and a 27 first in there as well for you to chat about. So boys, what we're going to do is you're going to give me, in round 1, 5 boxes to open. We're going to open them, see who's behind them, and then maybe you could pick a player each to talk about. Does that sound good?
Cool. Sounds good to me.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's kick things off. Phil, you're right below me on this stream. So, Phil, why don't you tell me, where are you going with the first box? What are we opening?
Cool. Let's go straight down to the bottom middle. Let's take 23, please, Max.
Box 23 is, it is Manuel Egbuka. So pretty good player there, but not Ashton Jeanty, not a 1-1, but definitely a first round player. We might get to him later. Let's see. Jack, where are you heading with your first one?
I'm going to tick off our Devy 102 pick, and that is number 2, Ryan Williams, the Alabama receiver. So let's go number 2.
Number 2 is, that's a good pull, Kaleb Mullins. Kaleb Mullins, who I think is going fourth round, I would say, perhaps at this point in time. Phil, where are you going?
Let's go with number 13, please, Max.
Number 13, unlucky for some. You're getting from that a random 2026 first round pick from that. Interesting. We might get to that later. We'll see. Jack, where are we going with yours?
16.
Number 16 behind that. Jackson Dart behind that. A guy that's kind of all over the place with his value. He'd be an interesting one to talk about. And Phil, one more to round up round number 1. Which box are you opening?
25, please, Max.
Box 25. We've got. Oh dear.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's Ashton Jeanty. Boys.
He's rubbish.
We've got 2 first round players there, another first in there, a borderline first round, second round guy, and then a guy that you wanted to get rid of. While I'll let you chat about it, Phil, we'll go to you first. Do you want to pick one of those things to focus on? And then Jack, you can follow up. I'm going to wait for a call from the banker.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So let's talk Jackson Dart first of all. Obviously, you mentioned it yourself, Max. Like projections on Dart at the moment are all over the place. Anywhere down from kind of QB3 to QB5, depending on where you look for your information. Highly productive, lovely arm. Like throws a beautiful deep ball. Is kind of sneaky mobile in the same way that we knew Drake May was sneaky mobile. And then obviously you've seen when Drake May has had to run this year that there's actual rushing upside and a floor that he can put on in terms of fantasy points. I think Jackson Dart does offer you the same thing. He's going to look to throw first every time, but he has those sneaky wheels when he rolls out the pocket to pick up those extra yards, keep the chains moving, keep drives alive, and look for those kind of beautiful deep shots that he's capable of throwing. Like I said, really highly productive at Ole Miss this last year, where he threw beautiful passes to Trey Harris, really struck up a good rapport there. And he, if he goes somewhere that's got that true number 1 already in place, he could be really, really big. He could be a really, really productive player. Obviously, the concerns and the reason he's getting overlooked slightly and people can't quite make their mind up is Lane Kiffin's offense at USC is very much one read and go. There's very little translatability into a kind of NFL playbook and an NFL offense. So the interviews and the kind of board work kind of part of the combine and the bit that goes on behind closed doors is going to be really, really important for Jackson Dart in terms of establishing himself as a top tier prospect. But yeah, the talent's definitely there.
Yeah, definitely agreed with that. And Jack, anyone you want to pick out there and have a chat about?
Yeah, it's hard not to talk about Ashton Jeanty, but I'll leave him for some other experts because I can't pass up the chance to wax lyrical about my boy Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. For me, at the moment, the number 2 wide receiver in this rookie class, which I know is not consensus, but then I think the wide receiver class is kind of all over the place at the moment. With Igbukah, you are getting a solid, precise route runner, someone who can create separation at all levels, off the line with his head movement and his quick twitch. Someone who is in 99% of the time very secure with the ball, and an excellent possession receiver, someone who can earn you yards after the catch and be a quarterback's best friend. So Igbukah landing in an organization that already has not necessarily an alpha wide receiver, but other weapons will do him the world of good. You've seen him play at Ohio State with the likes of Marvin Harrison Jr. and this season Jeremiah Smith, who were those big alpha outside receivers who took away some of the coverage. But he can be more productive than just a second guy. I think of someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown and how he is clearly the guy at the Lions, but there are other threats on that team. I think that's what Igbukah would thrive in if he can land somewhere where he can still be the top guy, but amongst other threats.
Love it. And I do believe... Oh my goodness me, gents. Yes. Hello, Mr. Banker. How are you?
Hi, Kev.
Yes. He says he cannot confirm or deny that it is Kev White. He is laughing at me down the phone though about Ashton Jeanty coming off the board. Like, oh, I don't know if you can quite hear. It's quite audible actually. However, the banker says he still has an offer for you, and you should probably take this offer because it's very, very generous, considering that this player was quite a good player to come up this time last year playing this game. He's offering you for box number 4, Keon Coleman. Boys, what do you think about that?
Jack?
Well, I think we can safely say that that's a no deal. Keon Coleman, a talented wide receiver, but someone, Mags, we chatted about last year. Not sold on him coming into the draft process. Got some really good draft capital at the top of round 2. A great landing spot, great partnership with Josh Allen, but not somebody I'm willing to give up box number 4 for. And you know, the banker has a bit of history with me going on Deal or No Deal. As my last appearance, he was very upset with how it ended. So he's got to up his offers. He knows he's got to up his offers.
Yeah, he almost didn't do another episode. I had to convince him to come back. I mean, whoever the banker is, had to convince him to come back and do this show again today. You've still got plenty of players left on the board, lads. You've got, your big quarterback hitters there. You've got some massive running backs still on the board. Let's get the ball rolling. Ali, chip it to you first. How do you think the lads are doing?
Yeah, I think the 26th first, that sucked as well. Getting rid of that this early, but yeah, I mean we're aiming big here, boys. So we want that 27 first, or we want one of these other big running backs.
Let's do it. All right, let's go, Jack. Let's go to you this time. First off, where are you going? What box are you opening?
I'm going number 12.
Number 12, we've got my boy Xavier Restrepo behind 12, which we just said it's a sleeper pick, so we're not doing too bad. Phil, let's pitch it back to you.
Yeah, my look's got to change at some point, hasn't it? Let's go number 9.
Number 9. Oh, Tyler Warren, the tight end, an interesting pick. He's kind of going all over the shop as well with different capitals. That's not too bad. Definitely not one of the huge hitters behind the boxes. Jack, where are you going?
I'm going to hope that there's some terrible filling between that Igbukah Jeanty sandwich. Let's go 24.
24. Who's in the Igbukah Jeanty sandwich? It's Cam Scadaboo. Who would have known? Right? A Scadaboo sandwich. So he's off the board. Let's go. Phil, who's next?
Let's take number 6, please, Mags.
Number 6, we've got Ollie Gordon, a really, really weird, interesting pick. No one's thought he was going to be where he is this time last year. So let's round off this round. Pretty good round so far, Jack. Where are we going to finish it off?
Box number 1, please.
Number 1 is Colston Loveland, the other tight end, coming off the board there. So we got both heavy hitting tight ends off the board in a boys. I'd say that's a very successful round. Why don't we pitch it back to you boys, Phil? If you want to do the honors again, you want to pick one of those players: Restrepo, Warren, Scadaboo, Ollie Gordon, or Colston Loveland to talk about while the banker plots his next move.
Yeah, do you know what? Let's talk Ollie Gordon, because I think this time last year he was being drafted very, very highly in Devy leagues after a quite phenomenal statistical season in 2023 when he went for kind of rush for nearly 1,800 yards, just shy of. And, you know, this year there was a huge statistical regression. He only managed 862 yards on the ground, which was obviously a huge step back. But Jack and I have talked a lot about his size. He bulked up, he put on additional mass and seemed to lose some of the straight line speed that was really kind of breaking through. But I popped the tape back on over the last couple of weeks and sat and watched again. And the footwork, the vision, the lateral agility, if he keeps that weight in check, because he has got the potential to kind of like Leonard Fournette if he's not careful. But that combination of physicality and finesse, like, is an absolute nightmare if he manages to stay on the right side of that balance. And yeah, right now I feel like he's been slept on. I think the kind of back end of the second, early third, I'm not seeing him go any higher than that. And you know, he's another back who, in the right system, could well go on to be a 3-down workhorse. You know, it's interesting. His skills project well, and with the right development, he could really be that kind of cornerstone back that doesn't need high draft capital spending on him.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. He's a fascinating one. That's what I said to Ali. There's like so many question marks everywhere that you look in this draft, and he's a massive one. So love the focus on him. Jack, who's your player you're going to focus on?
Yeah, I'll pair the two tight ends in Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, just because I feel like the two of them are kind of in a 1A, 1B situation, but we don't know who's 1A and who's 1B right now without draft capital. And the conversation around the two of them are, both of them could be top 10 tight ends as soon as they step onto the field for fantasy, because the landscape isn't fantastic. I just feel like Colston Loveland is getting a bit of hate, and it takes a lot for me as an Ohio State fan to give a Michigan Wolverine much love. But Colston Loveland had high expectations for the season just gone in 2024, but really still was productive, was still consistent, but was really playing at his floor. Whereas Tyler Warren had an outstanding season. He's still adjusting to the position. He used to play quarterback. He played a bit of running back. He played all over the field for Penn State. And as both Penn State and Michigan kind of struggled for offensive weapons last season, these two both stepped up. I just think Colston Loveland has a higher ceiling than Tyler Warren does, and I think there's bigger separation between the two of them than seems to be the consensus right now.
I agree.
Me too. I've got Loveland as my tight end one over Tyler Warren. Ali, I can ask you maybe. For a few weeks though, I've been calling Tyler Warren like a young Taysom Hill, and I can't decide if it's an insult or not. What do you think?
I mean, there's weeks where Taysom Hill breaks fantasy, right? So if there's a system that he can land himself in where he can take, some carries on the goal line, that adds, extra points to your team, and I absolutely love these two. I can see these both being drafted in the top 20 picks of the NFL draft. Every mock you see is the Colts taking Tyler Warren, and then Colston Loveland. We want him to land on the Chargers, and that would just be perfect. And I think these two could both be first-round picks in your rookie drafts.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think if we listen, we should have another offer from our banker. Yes, hello. It was a better round, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Yes, okay. The banker does
Hi, Kev.
Tip does tip the cap to you, Jack, saying he was hoping that you weren't going to mention last time you come on and absolutely crushed him. So with respect, he said he's up the offer to an all-time legend, someone that will help you win any fantasy game. The offer is Tyreek Hill for box 4.
Tyreek Hill. Now, listen, like obviously, there's elite upside, but I don't even think Tyreek Hill knows what his next move is. He's so unpredictable that at touching age 30, if he's not already hit that threshold, I know where I'm at. Jack, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to say, does this include royalties from his next move outside of the NFL, or are we just tied to his fantasy production? Because that's not enough for me.
Not enough. So both saying no deal to Tyreek Hill.
No deal.
No deal, which is great for everyone at home because it means we can keep opening up boxes. Phil, you started off as round 1, so let's go back to you for round number 3. 5 more boxes to open. Where are we starting?
21, please, Max.
Box 21. It's Quinshon Judkins. First round player, we would have to say. So we don't want to see too many more of those, but not one of our super early guys. Jack, where are you going?
Box number 19 for me, please.
Box number 19. Trey Harris, another one of those question mark players for sure. He's off the board. Phil, who's up next? 3 more to go.
Let's keep rolling. Let's go 7, please, Max.
Lucky number 7. Oh, dear. That's a big one. We knew that Henderson and Judkins weren't going to be separated by too much, but we were hoping the boxes weren't going to be the same. So, unfortunately, he leaves the board there. So, we've got 2 more boxes to open. Where are we going next, Jack?
Box number 5, please.
Let's see. Who's behind box number 5? Eric. I should get that right. Alec Iomanner behind that box. He's another one going all over the place. Seen him in the round 1, seen him in round 2, seen him in round 3, seen him not mentioned at all. He's completely bizarre prospect. And I think we got 1 more left then, Phil. Where are we going?
18, please, Max.
Box 18. Who is behind that? It's that 2027 first, which we know is super valuable. Boys, let's pitch it back to, let's go with Jack this time first. Jack, normally I ask you to choose one. Jack, me and Ali have been so excited about this 2027 class. Are we justified here? Like, I've been telling people, mate, just go sell your 26 first and get 27 first because I'm so excited about this class.
Yeah, I have not been telling other people to do that because I want to buy the 2027 first. At the top end of that 2027 class is gold dust, to be perfectly honest with you. From what we've seen from what are currently freshmen in college, the 2027 class looks fantastic. At the top, the headliners we've spoken about, Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. You've also got Cam Coleman, the wide receiver at Auburn. You've got Perry Thompson, another wide receiver at Auburn. You've got a down class of quarterback coming in 2025, let's be honest, and potentially 2026. You've got Arch Manning, who could be coming in the 2027 class, and on name value alone, that is enough to make your 2027 random first much more valuable, especially at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget my boy Lenore Sellers as well, Jack. Love that guy. He's coming in 27 as well. Like, love that class indeed. Phil, what would you like to talk about? We're not going to talk about you got the 2 running backs over at Ohio State. You got Trey Harris. You got Alec Iomanner. I had to give Jack the 27 first because we know he would have just talked about the Ohio State guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk about Trey Harris. Now, I am a firm believer in Trey Harris. I've been on the Trey Harris train since before it was cool. And
you got the T-shirt to prove it.
Absolutely. The guy, like, So we played in a college fantasy league this year. So outside of the realms of Devy, it was just pure college fantasy football. And I managed to pair up Jackson Dart with Trey Harris, and it was an absolute money combination. He is a big-bodied wide receiver, uses his frame to dominate defenders, and there's no such thing as a 50-50 ball with Trey Harris. It's a 70-30 ball. Straight line speed is, impressive. He's a real red zone threat. He's got that kind of large catch radius and length. He put up mad numbers this year, over 1,000 receiving yards in only 8 games before he kind of bowed out with an injury. Really productive. He's played his best football at the right time. And yeah, he's a buzz name, I think, that's only going to ascend the most people see him. It's real difficult to nail down a comp, but athletically, with the straight line speed, and the big body, you can look at a kind of DK Metcalf, but I think he's a better route runner. And I think he's got better hands as well. But that kind of size and speed gives you an idea of what prototypically kind of what you're looking at.
Absolutely love it. Ali, how do you think the boys are doing this one? There's a couple of heavy blows in there, right?
There was a couple of Ohio big blows in there, and yeah, that's tough to take because I was hoping at least one of those would remain. But I mean, it's just fitting that they had to go together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I almost thought they were going to go back to back. I almost said it, and then I went, no, I don't want to say that because he'll come up. And then as soon as I thought that in my head, he popped up immediately as well. So that's partially my fault, boys. I'm sorry. So hopefully the banker doesn't find that too amusing, but I'm sure he'll have lots to say. So let's see what the offer is going to be. And yeah, there's the laughing is back again. Yeah, sorry about that, lads. Although I said the banker is saying he is still worried, because he's very aware that Tet McMillan is still out there, an absolutely huge pull that would be, along with the two sort of more elite quarterbacks that we're speaking about. So he's saying in honor of the elite quarterbacks, he would like to offer you a newly minted elite quarterback, Sam Darnold, as your offer.
Where is Sam Darnold going to be playing in 2025?
I have no idea.
There seems to be a bit of a carousel that's almost about to start, doesn't it? With maybe Matt Stafford kicking it. Well, I guess Aaron Rodgers has already kicked it off, but what's going to happen with Matt Stafford? Yeah, so great resurrection season for Sam Darnold, and someone that is very easy to root for. I think the scheme in Minnesota and the coaching of Kevin O'Connell have put him in a really good position to earn some money and make himself relevant again, but not relevant enough for box number 4. Surely, Phil.
That I agree completely. Like it was a great success story, wasn't it, Sam Darnold last season? And you look at the framework of teams that are quarterback needy that might not be in the position to draft one, and you just ask yourself the question, is that going to be, from a fantasy perspective, a team where Sam Darnold can move and have another QB1 finish, a top 12 finish? And for me, the answer to that's no. I think we've seen the peak, and I think if you earn him, if you can sell him now, that would be the time. So yeah, it's a no deal for me.
Ali, would you have done the same there? We obviously did an episode a few weeks ago talking about how it's important to sell Sam Darnold now, so I'm guessing you would do the same here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's still got some value, and he's going to get himself probably a two-year deal. So I mean, he's going to be a starter for at least 2025. God knows where it's going to be. I don't think it'll be Minnesota. So yeah, this is quite an easy no deal for me.
I could just see him turn. We waited all last year for him to turn back into a pumpkin, but you can just see it, right? It's just even though he played well, like without Kevin O'Connell, it's going to be so difficult. But boys, that brings us into round 4. 5 more boxes to open up here. Jack, let's go to you first. Where are we starting?
We're going to start with double twos, 22.
Let's go to the double twos. Who's behind that? It's one of those elite quarterbacks. It's Cam Ward coming off the board with audible gasps coming from the audience. Phil, We need a better result than this here. Where are we going next?
Right, let's go 20, please.
Let's go with 20, and it's Luther Burden, another guy that's got a couple of question marks about him, but still seems pretty solid in round number 1. Jack, we got to stop this first round slide. Where are you going?
We do. Let's tick off the last box, 26.
26. I mean, look at Judkins, Ward, Buka, Skadabu, Janty. This has got to be a scrub, right? It's got to be. It's not. It's the best player in the draft. It's RJ Harvey, who, of course, we spoke about being a sleeper pick. So you boys have to be pretty happy about that, of course. Phil, back to you. Where are we going with the 4th box?
Let's go number 17, please, Max.
17, working our way up these boxes. It's the other quarterback. Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders both leaving the board. Tet McMillan is the big wheel out there, though, Jack. Do not click on the box with him. Where are you going with your final pick?
Whew, I'm going to go pick box 11.
Box number 11 is Omarion Hampton, who, of course, is another round 1 player. I think the banker's going to be happy, boys, but let's find out. Phil, we'll go to you first. Cam, Sanders, Burden. Well, we've already spoke about RJ Harvey, so we might leave him. Omarion Hampton there as well. Which one would you like to chat about?
Yeah, let's talk about Cam Ward. So, I over the last kind of couple of years, I have had a working theory, and I know you guys will be well familiar with it, of like, helping me kind of promote some of the stuff I've been doing on X and what have you. But this idea about the Bill Parcells methodology for drafting quarterbacks translating directly into success, and it seems to be that people are starting to catch up with that idea of time on task actually really matters to our dynasty quarterbacks. And this just kind of tests that theory. And the first time I did it a couple of years ago, it unearthed, going into his final collegiate season, it unearthed Jalen Daniels as a bit of a gem. He already hit all 7 of Bill Parcells' criteria. He then went on to win the Heisman, get drafted 2 overall to the Commanders. He went and won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then subsequently, he's probably now a top 2, maybe top 3 dynasty quarterback in startups. Like, the following year, that exact same methodology picked out Cam Ward. And, whilst we can't necessarily assume he's going to follow all of the same hype once he reaches the league, I think it's really interesting as a thought kind of process that nobody was talking about Cam Ward as an elite collegiate player the same way going into his final season at LSU. Nobody was talking about Jalen Daniels. Yet Cam Ward pulled up trees at Miami week after week last year, put out some stupendous game film, has basically made that program relevant again. And, has played some excellent football along the way. And yeah, I'm beginning to wonder and question whether it's a coincidence that he ticked all those boxes going into the season and then really went out there and put himself on the map. That's not to say that he's going to immediately be the Offensive Rookie of the Year and, a top 3, top 4 dynasty quarterback in a season's time, but he certainly has got the skill set. There are things he needs to rein in. He's very guilty at times of playing hero ball and trying to do too much. And, he will at times give offensive coordinators fits if he doesn't kind of lose that kind of trait and doesn't kind of rein it in a little bit. But equally, I think you've got to take the rough with the smooth, because he's going to win you games by doing something stupendous, and he's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to watch on a Sunday.
Yeah, I think you're right. Fun. He's the quarterback that I found more entertaining to watch through college. So I think that's definitely true. The fun factor. Jack, who would you like to focus on as your player?
I'll take Omarion Hampton. because he is another really fun guy to watch because he is a powerful, violent runner, the running back out of North Carolina. And he's perfect size for the NFL. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds, but he's not slow. He's got that lateral agility. He's got some very limited pass catching work on tape, but North Carolina just asked him to carry the entire offense in the last season, and he really did. He is so much fun to see running over and through defenders, and I think he is being talked about as borderline first round NFL draft pick. I think certainly a fantasy first round draft pick, someone that I am gutted has revealed himself on this board.
Yeah, that was tough round for them there, Ali, right? What do you think the banker's going to hit them with here?
I mean, I can't wait. There's going to be a low ball offer, I feel, coming from Kev. I mean, the banker, just because there was so many big hitters, but there's hopefully still a couple left that I'm thinking of that we could end up with. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Let's see if we can find out here, and let's see what the bankers got to offer the boys here, shall we? Are we playing the phone signal? Is it not? Oh, there we go. We got it. That is an interesting offer. This is a very deliberate offer, and he's trying to sway you, but I think he's maybe wanting another person on this stream to sway you. The offer is Mike Evans. So, boys, you're looking at Ali's face. He's sitting, giving you the 2 thumbs up, probably, right? What do you think about that? Or are you just going to roll the dice? Tet McMillan, he's still there. You can't risk Mike Evans for that, can you?
Is that future Hall of Famer Mike Evans, or are we not quite going into that debate on this show?
There's no debate.
I don't want to upset our host, but it's a fabricated record, isn't it? After they've fudged him his 1,000 yards this year.
I'm guessing after that it might be a no. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I think it's a no, but it is an interesting offer, isn't it? But that Mike Evans is still an incredibly productive fantasy wide receiver, someone whose situation is secure. Interesting to see what happens behind him in that wide receiver room with Chris Godwin hitting free agency and that injury history for him as well. So a good offer, but that's not fun. That's not fun.
No, it's not fun. It's not fun. What's really interesting about it though is, and we were talking about it pre-show, gents, like Daniel Jeremiah in his latest mock draft actually pitched Tet McMillan, the guy that we're probably hoping on here at this point, to the Bucks at 19 to potentially learn from and play alongside Mike Evans. Now, I don't want them eating each other's target share. I don't want them both in my lineup. So it's a no deal from me.
A no deal. Ali, even as the Mike Evans super fan, would you have also said no deal here?
That would have been a very tempting offer, I have to say, but yeah, I mean, Tet McMillan is like Mike Evans light, and I mean, I would absolutely love to see them two playing together. For a Buccaneers point of view, that would be very fun. But no, I'm hoping there's a certain Texas wide receiver as well that maybe is on the list. But other than that, it's full steam ahead for Tet in this game.
I would love to tell you, Ali, but I can't remember. I actually can't remember who's on here and who's not. I know Tet McMillan is definitely here, and there's some other guys. So we'll have to find out because this is our final round. We got 4 boxes to open for our last round. Let's pitch it to Jack. Open your first box, please. Only 4 to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna tick off the New England Patriots savior, Drake May's number 10.
Let's see. Number 10 is Savion Williams. That's a great box to be opening there, Jack. Phil, let's keep the streak going.
Yeah, watch me kill this now. Let's take 14, please.
14 is... Oh, God.
Well, oh, man.
It's really weird because when Jack did this on his own, he was really good, and for some reason,
Yeah, if you
never
remember,
fills him all. Yeah.
if you remember when I did
Can I
Ohio,
switch teams?
remember the box I picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to pick my own box last time I played. So
you
yeah.
did try to pick your own box, yeah. So Tet McMillan's off the board, sadly, lads. There are 4 players left. I don't know who they are. I'm not going to lie. Jack, who are you going to pick?
Okay, well, I think we're hoping Kaleb Johnson is still here, and maybe Matthew
Yeah.
Golden. I assume that's the
Yeah.
Texas receiver, not Isaiah Bond that you're talking about, Ali.
Those-
Let's go
Yeah.
box 15 and hope that the guy next to Tet is of a lower caliber.
Let's have a look. Box 15. Jalen Milroe going off box 15. He was one of the guys in there. Phil, there's one more box, but there is good news, Phil. You cannot get Ashton Jeanty or Tet McMillan or Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. So
I thought you were
you're free.
I thought you were going to tell me the good news was Jack was picking the box.
No, sadly not.
Right, in that case, it can't get any worse. Let's just take number 3, please, Mags.
Box number 3. It's Kaleb
It
Johnson.
can get worse.
It's Kaleb Johnson. Yeah, that's one of the elite guys as well at there. Box 4 obviously remaining along with box number 8. The banker will offer you one more offer. Then you'll choose if you want to swap or not. But before we do that, Phil, let's pitch it to you. Which one of these guys do you feel obliged to talk about Tet McMillan now?
No, I don't want to talk about him. He's dead to me. I will stick with Alabama, please, and talk about Jalen Milroe. He has been someone we've talked an awful lot on the show about over the last year. And as an Alabama fan, he has been the most excruciating watch at times because, look, for me, he's the only quarterback in this class that has got a true superpower, and that is his rushing upside. And we know just how that can salvage value. However, you have got to accept everything else that is going to come with it. He rushes like Cam Newton and throws like Kenny Pickett with the decision making of Will Levis. And yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster. And I think like there is a sweet spot where you can get him. I know there are some people who are still talking about taking him in the first round. Right now, I think that is so draft capital dependent, and the buzz we're hearing is he is a late day 2, early day 3 pick. He's gonna con everyone again at the combine this weekend. People are going to go nuts for his athletic profile, but look, that it's not going to improve his decision making. And for a guy so quick, he is so slow through his progressions. It seemingly, and me and Jack said it at times last year, it seems that he wants to do the right thing. He knows that he should be going through his progressions, but spends that long doing it. He actually negates his strongest suit, which is his ability to get out of the pocket and run like Chuff. If you draft him, he comes with a buyer's beware label and a serious be patient. I'm really glad that I resisted taking any Devy shares. Because if he was the QB that I was putting on my rosters and banking on this year, I would be pretty gutted at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're quite right there as well. He's a fascinating one. That's again, I come back to this question mark. He's maybe the biggest question mark of them all. Jack, who would you like to focus on as your last player to chat about?
I'll talk about Savion. No, I won't talk about Xavier Williams. Just a tease. Although a fun wildcat wide receiver playing in TCU. So, don't write him off completely. But for this process, Kaleb Johnson is the guy that we mentioned, the running back from Iowa. Another guy, really similar build to Omarion Hampton. He's about 6 foot, 225 pounds. He's got explosive burst and he controls his weight, his muscle really well, and he has really good vision, reading blocks and setting them up for himself as well. I am a little bit surprised at how high his stock has gone in this pre-draft process, and seeing him as people's RB2 behind Ashton Jeanty But I will lap that up because I have a lot of shares of him from Devy leagues, because he burst onto the scene as a freshman, had a really productive first season, a very disappointing 2023, and then an explosive 2024. So he's a gamble. I would say he's a gamble of a pick if you're taking him that high in the first round, just from what I've seen over his full repertoire. And he does require his offensive line to do some or a large portion of the work for him. He's not creating those holes for himself. Obviously, room to grow, chance to develop that skill in the NFL, but not as elusive a back, not as productive a back as some of the other running backs that I have ranked higher than him.
Yeah. Ali, before the last offer comes in from the banker, what are your thoughts to the boys?
Well, I mean, this has ended up a complete wild card, which is quite fitting, really, as we've got the wild card family here. It is going to be a final, a funny ending to see who we get and whether the boys are going to swap their box. I feel they're not going to, but can't wait to see who we end up with.
We got one more offer, though, as we know from the banker, before he offers that swap as well. Yes, hello, Mr. Banker. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not happily shutting high cap anymore. You're right. He's being very quiet over there.
Hello, Mr. White.
Okay, that is a very kind offer. The banker, who of course will remain anonymous, has said, since you boys haven't been able to catch a break, he's offering you a guy who can't catch a football. Quentin Johnson is the offer.
I knew that's what the offer was going to be.
So, now, Matthew Golden and a mystery player, or QJ?
Yeah. Well, the deductionists in us were wondering if the other box is Travis Hunter, which obviously is a very interesting pick, and has been discussed before I joined the show, I believe, which could be very interesting and is certainly a much higher upside box to open than Quentin Johnson, in my opinion. So I'll throw it to Phil, but I think you can tell where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I'm happy to stick. I mean, look, whoever we pick is going to be better than Quentin Johnson. So,
and we won't give the banker the satisfaction of winning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked whenever it's Paul picking behind one of these boxes. Let me tell you. So let's have a look, boys. Are you wanting to swap the box, or are you wanting to stay with Jeremiah Smith in box number 4?
Box number 4 all the way.
All the way.
Box number 4 all the way. All right, let's open it up. Who's behind box number 4? It's Nick.
The true Heisman winner.
The Triple Crown superstar, nice and spicy Nick Nash. Phil, we both love this guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, highly productive late round wide receiver. He is developmental and nothing more. He played in a very, very scheme friendly system at San Diego State, excuse me. And he was basically the only guy on the roster that could probably catch a football, so he got peppered with targets. But he made the most of it, put up some outstanding production, and yeah, if you're willing to be patient on a guy who might amount to nothing but could be a stud, nice and spicy for the win. I feel like I've won. That was hideous, but I still feel like I've won.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at a theory around what does college production mean for Devy prospects and how important is it. You can't get more college production than Nick Nash got in the last season. So, if that theory is going to be put to the test, this is the guy to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that it landed at him, Phil. I came across him with our first episode together. We give him that nickname, of course, over in the UK. We got our Nick Nack, so nice and spicy. Nick Nash. And just to round things off, was it Matthew Golden? It was Matthew Golden behind the final box. And boys, I feel like even though some might say Nick Nash was the worst player on the board, I still feel like you won overall. You both seem pretty happy. Are you pleased with the game?
I am delighted. Yeah, I've won. I got my guy.
You got your guy, which is what it's all about. Jack, are you just as pleased?
I am just as pleased. If you're not going to hit the high heights of the best player, you might as well hit the low lows of the worst player.
Absolutely.
All or nothing.
Yeah, absolutely agreed with you there, mate. So, Ali, I'm going to pass the hosting torch back to you for our last little segment.
Cheers, Mags, and what a reaction that was to revealing Nick Nash. That was a classic moment. But we have hit the 2-minute warning where we've actually got a couple of extra trades sent in this week. So there's been some really, really good ones. I'm going to go, because we're short for time, I'm going to just give each of you one of these trades and give me your thoughts. So the first one, I'm going to give you Jack. So this is a 12-team dynasty. This is a best ball league, super flex format, tight end premium. There's no picks involved in this, but there is some interesting guys. So you've got Bijan Robinson and Geno Smith, trading away those two for Drake May and Kyron Williams. Now, Jack, which side of that equation? Because you've obviously got Drake May on there. Do you prefer?
Yeah, I do really like Drake May as a dynasty prospect, someone who has flashed the tools so far in a really difficult first season for the Patriots. I've watched way too much of that season as a Patriots fan myself. And I think that's the side I'm going to land on. I love Bijan Robinson. His season this year was absolutely incredible. Everything we wanted from him coming out as a rookie that we didn't quite get in year one. But Kyron Williams is pretty productive too. And that youth at quarterback in a super flex tight end premium and best ball league, that leads me to the quarterback with the higher upside and a running back that can hit those high heights on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, absolutely love that. I'm a massive Drake May fan, and yeah, people are slaughtering me left, right, and centre for having him ranked above Kaleb Williams and the likes of those in Dynasty. But I really think that Drake May is going to kick on in 2025. This one's for you, Mags. This is a 12-team Superflex PPR tight end premium league, the best type of league. We've got Kaleb Williams, the 210, and a 2026 second, or your boy Rashee Rice and the 102. Who are you going with?
Ali, I don't know if you've got the Twitter handle for whoever sent this in, but this must be an absolute idiot sending this in. Do you have the handle available?
I can't find it, but I think he was from Wales anyway.
So was he bald by any chance as well?
Yes, his picture he was bald.
It was bald in his picture. He's from Wales. Did he mention running the marathon every 2 minutes?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah.
Oh right, that's quite. Is it? No, this is a fun trade. Caleb Williams on one side still do believe in Caleb, but then that 102 is really quite impressive this year because it is super fun. I'm still going to lean the quarterback side here with Caleb Williams. I do like Rashee Rice, but I think Caleb Williams definitely a step ahead of any quarterback you could get at 102 in this draft. So even though he hasn't shown a huge amount, I think Caleb Williams, plus the fact with his new head coach over there, Benja, I think that's going to be real fun. I think it's going to be real nice. So I'm going to try and buy some Caleb up if I can. So I would take the Caleb side for this one.
Yeah, I think I agree. Tend to always try and lean quarterback in that situation where there's only one quarterback on one side. But yeah, I would lean that side. Phil, over to you. This is very similar format, 12-team. In fact, it's the exact same format. Superflex, PPR, tight end premium. Jalen Waddle and the 208 this year, or DK Metcalf and DeAndre Swift.
Man, you guys got fun and I got ugly. I deserve that though. I deserve that though for the way I played Deal or No Deal. Listen, the flip side for me here is I'm going to take the Jalen Waddle side. right? And at first value, you'd probably say that coming off the season he's had, DK Metcalf would be higher valued than Jalen Waddle. But right now, I want nothing of DeAndre Swift. There is no way with this incoming running back class that the Bears don't find themselves a better running back at some point in the draft than DeAndre Swift. I just feel like he's got no value left. And, given that DK Metcalf isn't secure as the wide receiver one on his own team, with the emergence of Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'll gladly take a shot on a rookie running back with a 208 and a bounce back from Jalen Waddle, because his ability far exceeds the limited impact he had last year by injury, and a healthy Tua. Unsure situation around what Tyreek Hill's ever going to do next. Just says to me that Waddle's due a bounce back, and I'll gamble on that with the rookie running back.
Yeah, I think I'd massively lean that side. I really like Waddle. I've got loads of him in Dynasty. Really disappointing in 2024, but I think there's reasons behind that. And yeah, as you mentioned, I think Swift is a dead man walking at the minute. Such a shame, because I was really high on Swift coming out as a rookie, just not fulfilled that potential really. Back to you, Jack. We've got exactly the same format again. This is JJ McCarthy plus the stud Lad McConkey, or Amon-Ra St. Brown and the 312.
Oh, that is tough, because everything within me wants to take Amon-Ra St. Brown and have the elite wide receiver. And as you said, the leaning the quarterback side of a trade in a 12-team Superflex league is where the common sense lies. But forget common sense. I want the known elite prospect there, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I will scramble around at quarterback.
Yeah, that is a really difficult one, just because we spoke obviously last week about Lad McConkey being a sell. We think he's reached his ceiling, and then JJ McCarthy, there is question marks. I think if he is the starter and he's healthy in that system, he will thrive. But yeah, the known quantity is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I feel like he is fairly underrated in Dynasty as well. And
you can get Nick Nash with that 312.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a win as well.
You can probably get Nick Nash with the 412. Let's be
honest. Mags, 12-team Superflex PPR. There's no Titan Premium. We've got Devon, Get the Tables, Achan, and the 202, or Bucky Irving, the 111, and the 208. So where do you stand on these two running backs?
I got 3 words for you, Ali. Get the tables. I'm going with Devon Achan here. A lot of the big reason as well, I've got him obviously ranked ahead of Bucky Irving, who's come out and shown really well this year. That 111, 202, what we've seen with this show, that you can still get your guy anyway with the 202 compared to the 111. So it's not really that huge big gap. There's such a divide in the community at the minute as to who's going where, that they're sort of interchangeable for me. And I don't think a late second is enough on top of Bucky Irving to upgrade to Devon Achan. So give me Devon.
Yep, I think that's an interesting one. I'm going to try and not be unbiased, because I obviously would lean the Bucky side. But yeah, as you mentioned, I think there's a big group probably from the pick 108 to 2-4, where there's you could put them in any sort of order right now anyway, so there's not much difference there. We're going to round it up with your trade here, Phil. This is a 12-team Dynasty Best Ball again, Superflex format, even though there's no quarterbacks here. PPR, Titan Premium. It's quite a big one. Brian Thomas Jr. that was spoke up today by his new head coach, Liam Cohen. Would you trade him away for Jaden Reed, the 112, and a random 2026 first?
Look, I was going to get Brian Thomas mentioned at some point, weren't we? After I came on here last year and said that he looked like Tarzan and played like Jane, and then he went on and had the year that he had. Of course, that one was going to come up at some point. That is about, and the only reason I would even consider this or consider the other side of this is the best ball format, and the fact that 2 firsts with the upside of Jaden Reed to have a monster week before going missing again means that he is likely to make, he's a good best ball wide receiver to have, dependent on the rest of your squad. But given that I don't know what the rest of the squad is, I'm going to keep hold of the sure thing, it looks like, in a high-octane offense. They get Trevor Lawrence healthy again. They get Christian Kirk back to maybe take a bit of that soft coverage away from him. And it's wheels up for Brian Thomas. So I think I'll stick there. But that's fairly close given Jaden Reed's upside as a best ball wide receiver, I think.
Yeah, the downfall of Jaden Reed was quite something the second half of last season, where a lot of people were ranking him really, really highly the way he started, but he sort of faded away, whereas Brian Thomas Jr. just absolutely smashed it. And everyone's excited about that link up with Liam Cohen coming in to see what he can do with Trevor Lawrence. Maybe he can take the next step, and that is an exciting stack in Dynasty. Yeah, and with that, gentlemen, thank you for tonight's show. It's been awesome having you both on. Just check out these boys on the Wildcard Devy Show. You boys go out once every 2 weeks, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we try and every other week. We're due a mock draft next week, I believe.
Ooh, that is going to be exciting. So make sure you check that out. Phil, Jack, thank you so much for coming on. Mags, as always, it's been a pleasure. And check us out every single Tuesday for our show on stream, on YouTube, and on X. Thank you once again. And when you have the wild card, remember, you have the power to change the game.